Okay, I think we are live. Let me know that you can see me and hear me. Yes, we made it. We made it. Awesome. Welcome in, everyone. So today, let me know when you can see me and hear me because it's a Mercury retrograde and it was like not coming on. So, okay, we're talking about manifesting money, wealth, all the things. And today I wanted to talk about the difference between manifesting money and earning money. Because the way that I think about it in my consciousness, there is a difference. I enjoy both forms of having money. You guys know I love money. I love having money. I love creating money. I love manifesting money. But I really wanted to talk about some of these sort of subtle and sometimes not so subtle differences in how we can either earn or manifest money. Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you, Noor. Welcome, Lenny, Manira, Janine, Marie. Welcome. Okay, so I'm gonna dive right into it. At the end, I have to tell you this funny thing, this challenge that I just accepted and how that came to be. And I'm excited about it, but I'm also kind of like nervous about it. So I'll tell you guys at the end. So let's just jump into it. Number one. So I think words carry frequency, words carry meaning. So when we say earning money versus when we say manifesting money, there is a slight but really potent difference in how that information is received to our subconscious. So, for example, when I say making money, I think that it's something that doesn't exist and I have to go make it. And depending on how you're programmed, that could mean something great, but it could also mean something not so great. Like you can think of it as like efforting, right? Like, oh my God, this thing doesn't exist and now I have to go out there and I have to make it. So depending on how you're wired, you do want to be aware of the words that you're using. Like two people can use the same exact word and have a completely different like frequency that comes from them because of that. So I would be really aware of it. When I think of manifesting money, I think of it as it already exists. It's already circulating in like trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars just in my neighborhood. Like that's how I like to imagine it, that just in my neighborhood, there's trillions of dollars circulating and I'm just calling it forth. I'm manifesting it. I'm attracting it. Now, obviously, I feel like both making money and manifesting money require action, but I'm someone that does not like inaction. I like action. So that works for me. So how these words play with your belief systems is the key with what you're using. So be mindful of which words you're using and does it feel good to you? Sometimes we have people we look up to and we're like, oh, this person uses this affirmation or they use this word. Let me try using that. Try it on for size, but feel free to also customize it. It doesn't have to be exactly the way that this person is saying it because they might have a completely different conditioning than you do, right? Okay, number two, this one will blow your mind because I know it's changed my life. When I do this work with my clients, like privately, and I've also started implementing it in group settings now, which is newer for me. They're shocked to learn how this works in their actual nervous system. So number two is that what your nervous system state is dictates how you perceive time. So when we say making money versus manifesting money, both of these consciousness can sometimes have, like time associated, right? We're all conditioned to thinking, maybe you get paid every 2 weeks. So then you think of money gets wired in your brain as like every 2 weeks. Maybe you have your rent or mortgage or car payment, all the things going out every month. So then you start thinking, in months you start thinking of your business income in years. And this is something that I help my clients kind of rewire because I really struggled with this. I had not even realized that I had been so conditioned to think of money in months and in like quarters and in years. But the truth is that you can earn any amount of money in any amount of time. So when we're limiting ourselves with these kind of consciousness, it makes a difference. What I had to really think about is that how did this thing get wired in me? Which I know how, like societal conditioning, but where is it wired and how do I unwire it? And what I've learned is that because of the way that our nervous system works, whether we are in fight, flight, fawn, or freeze, time will experience differently. So when you are even slightly aroused in your nervous system, you're going to think and say things like, there isn't enough time, right? Like if you're in like hyper arousal, let's say, there isn't enough time, I have to do this, there isn't enough time. You're going to be moving a certain way. You're going to be perceiving reality in a certain way. Your focus is going to be manipulated based on how your nervous system is seeing the world in that moment as its trigger. Well, when you're in hyperarousal, time might unusually slow down for you. You might feel lethargic. You might feel like, oh my God, I'm so bored. Like time's not even moving by. Like you feel like everything has slowed down. Well, your nervous system is manipulating how you're experiencing time, and how you're experiencing time then changes how fast or slow you're going to be able to manifest things. So let me know if this is making sense to you in the chat, or if you've experienced this. I am at some point going to experiment with opening up the chat to everyone, subscribers, but right now I'm giving my members a chance to have access to the chat. And if you want to join at any time, I'll post that link in the description box so you can become a member and get chat access, but also access to exclusive. Oh my goodness, you can comment. Hey, hi Shirzad. I didn't realize that you can comment in the thing. Yay, I'm so excited. Happy to have you. Yes, we have to unlearn things. I'll tell you something. I had to unlearn that addiction to thinking of money in months to make it to 8-figure. Like as an 8-figure earner, I couldn't do it. Like I couldn't change from 7 to 8 without breaking that addiction. There was still like looking at numbers in months. And I was like, why am I looking at numbers in months? Like I'm an entrepreneur, like I control how much money I make. It's because I was programmed to do that since I was little. Hello, Kabibi. Kabibi, I have a question for you. Can I make you moderator to this channel, please? Like tap in, and only if it's aligned, but let me know if that's good for you. So I really want to add a few more moderators. Heather Ann, I have the same question for you. If I could add you as a moderator, let me know, please. Okay, so moving on to 3. Okay, number 3 is masculine and feminine. Okay, you cannot make a baby without the masculine and feminine. You can't make a baby without an egg and a sperm. You cannot create money, wealth, all the things without the masculine and feminine. I was just recently having a conversation with someone, and she was really convicted in believing that money is masculine. And she's like, money is so masculine. And this was not a client or anything like that. So I just I pretended like I have a zip on my mouth, and I kept my mouth shut. And I was just nodding politely, but money is both. Your relationship with money is both masculine and feminine. And if it's not, you are going to have trouble manifesting. If you believe that money is only feminine, you're going to be able to call in money or maybe even free things, but you're not going to be able to keep money, because keeping money requires structure. It requires boundaries. It requires like investing and a lot of things that you need to be able to hold structure for. So if you're going to want to create wealth, if you want that money to like stay in your bank account and grow and evolve and compound, you're going to have to use both. Thank you, Kabibi. I appreciate it. Thank you, Heather Ann. I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Awesome. I appreciate you so much. Awesome. Okay, next one. Number 4. You can manifest money. You can even make money, but you cannot compound wealth. I mean, you cannot make, or let me rephrase that. I messed that one up. Let me rephrase it. You can manifest money. You can even make money, but you cannot make or manifest wealth. wealth has to be compounded. And so this is again that masculine bit, because I have met 7-figure creators, I have met 8-figure creators in my, business career, and even in personal life, that actually didn't have wealth. In fact, I'm doing a training tomorrow on YouTube, which you should be led to automatically after the stream ends. It's happening tomorrow, I believe at 11:11, where I'm introducing you to 4 stages. And my stages are coins, cash, riches, and wealth. I've met a lot of people that are in the stages of riches, which means they have tons and tons of cash flow. They have money coming in, but they also have tons and tons of money going out. And they are always in that mode of where they feel like they're behind, even though they might have 7 figures coming in a month. But if you don't have the container, the capacity to hold that, then you will leak that and you're not going to be able to compound it. And that's where that cloud energy comes in that I often talk about when I talk about money. You need to be able to leverage cloud money to have wealth. Okay, number 5, everyone with me? Thank you, thank you. Number 5 is choose a belief you can get behind in earning money that matches your value. Here's why I'm saying this. You can attract money in any way you want to, whatever you believe. So for example, if your belief is that money is really hard and I have to sacrifice my health and my time with family to earn it, you will earn money, but it will require you to sacrifice your health and sacrifice your time with money, because that is what you believe. So you can choose any belief. Let me give you an example. And this one offends a lot of people. So let me say this. Just because I have a certain belief, that doesn't mean it negates your belief. Sometimes what can happen is we think that, oh, if Mina thinks this, then she must think that the opposite of that is not good or it's not true. No, it just means that's where I'm parked right now. In the parking lot of beliefs and values, that's where I've decided to park. It doesn't mean that the opposite of that belief or in any range is wrong. So for example, I believe that the more education I have, the more I learn, the more skills I have, the more my money will not only manifest, but it will compound. So because I believe that, because that's a very strong value of mine, it comes true. So the more I evolve my skill sets, the more I invest in myself, the more I learn, the more I educate myself through a million different ways, the more money I make and the more my money is compounded. Now, do I personally know people that have no education and make a lot of money? To be honest with you, I personally don't know people like that, but online, I've heard of people like that. I've heard of people that were, high school dropouts or never went to college and earn like millions and millions. Some of these people earned even more than me. So that is also a belief that exists. It's not a belief that I can get behind because it doesn't match my values. So if I try to take on that belief and I said, you know what, I never have to learn anything again. I never have to grow. I never have to educate myself. Hey, Janan, thank you so much for the super chat, babe. Then, I can still make money. I think that would it would be harder for me to take that on as a belief because it's such a personal value system of mine. Of course, I can rewire myself, but there would be a lot of resistance there. Like, let's be honest, right? But that doesn't mean that there aren't people. There are people out there that believe I don't need any education. I can still make millions of dollars. They can do that. They can do that. Okay. So make sure that your belief systems match your actions. If there's a mismatch, then you have to either change your beliefs or you have to change your actions, because otherwise you are not going to get the results that you desire. And why are you just spinning your wheels, right? Like, we don't want to do that. We want to work smarter and we want to manifest smarter. Okay. Number 6. Okay. This is a huge one. This is a huge one. Money flows to desires, not to need. Money flows to desire, not to need. So since I was a little girl, my mom would tell me that I was like 2 years old and I believed that I was rich. I believed that I was wealthy. I would tell her stories of being rich. Like, I remembered being filthy rich and filthy wealthy. And that is not what our family reality was. And my mom thought it was very cute. And she would like listen to me tell her these stories. And as I got older, like my stories became a little bit more like convicted and like, yeah, I'm rich. And so I've always enjoyed shopping for things. I've always enjoyed having nice things. My mom would say, like, you're going to walk into a store and whatever thing you're going to pick out is going to end up being the most expensive thing. Not that I'm like looking at the price tag, I'll just pick up the most expensive thing. It's just always been me. Because of that, I believe that that's why it's always been easy for me to manifest money. Now, I had to really learn to keep money. That was a big wound of mine, but it's always been easy for me to manifest. So see the difference? I had the feminine down, but the masculine I had to really learn after I got married to Irfan. He had to really teach me that. So notice that people who don't really desire nice things, they don't allow themselves to want things. But they're like, but I need to pay my rent. I need to pay my mortgage. I need to make my car payment. There's always this level of like not having enough. There's always this level of, if you remember in Barkat, I talked about stretching the scarcity versus like really manifesting something, like really not even having scarcity anymore. That's the slight difference. When you say, I need something, I don't know what it is about money, but if money was a human being, if we personified money, money doesn't like neediness. Money just does not go to people that is like, I need it. Look at all the people in the world that like need money desperately, but money doesn't exist there abundantly. People that are like, oh, I live in a $3 million home and now I want a $10 million home. Somehow they manifest the money, right? Or someone that's like, even like I've met broke college students that are like, I have to get a Chanel bag or I have to get a Louis Vuitton bag. And they're obsessed with their desire. They somehow manifest it. I have family members like that. So money is attracted to desire. It is repelled by need. And this is just something that I teach. I've taught this in some of my courses. And actually I'll teach you this tomorrow in my training that's happening in the quantum tunneling with money training. Is our frequencies with money come from our different energy centers or chakras, right? So when you're in need, you're in the root chakra. The frequency of the root chakra is the energy of survival. It's the energy of need, right? You want to feel stable. You want to feel grounded with money. And there's only a certain amount that you need to be able to feel that. It feels like there's a limitation there. Like tap into that for a second. Drop into your root chakra. And if your root chakra can tell you what it needs from you as far as money, like what would it say? Like what's the frequency there? Tap into that, please, and put it in the chat. What's coming up for you? What does it say? Gladys said how to stretch scarcity. So I shared the story in my Barkat course, and I shared this in Budapest as well, that when I was a little girl, I would see family members back home when my parents would take me to their country, Pakistan. I would see that my dad's family was wealthy and my mom's family was not. And when I would visit my mom's family, I noticed that they had very different language than my dad's family. And I noticed that people would say, oh, I hope I just had enough. I would have enough for my rent. And it was like they were always short and they were always manifesting just enough. And there's this really potent concept of barakat in my culture and basically you can manifest whatever you desire through barakat. The problem is that they always desired just enough and they always got it. So when I was a little girl, I would be very confused because I would wonder why they weren't saying that I never have to worry about my rent again, that I always have money for food, that I never have to worry about my bills, right? So some people learned that barakat meant stretching scarcity, like stretching the money just to. But to me, it means overflow. I started saying something different. I said, I want to be in a situation where I never have to worry about a mortgage. And for the last 15 years, 16 years, 15 years, we've had a paid off house. So that's not stretching the scarcity. That's a desire, right? Need is, I wish I can just pay the next month's mortgage. Desire is, I want to be in a situation where I never have to worry about a mortgage. It's a very different frequency. One is coming from the root. The other is coming from the sacral. It's coming from your pleasure. It's coming from your heart, like desire. It's a higher frequency. Okay. So let me see if I had something else before I open it up to questions. Oh, what did you guys say? What came up for you for the root when you tapped into it? What were the words or the frequencies or the flavors that came up? Let me open it up for a little bit now that I have a few more moderators. And let me open it up to my subscribers and see what you guys are saying. What came up for you? Someone said, I feel bad spending even the money my husband gives me. So what I would tap into is the next time you're trying to spend money, then tap into what feelings come up, and then tap into what are the core beliefs attached to those feelings. I have you guys know my 6-step process in the basic babe bundle, but I also have it in my book for you guys. So we have to work through the subconscious. We have to work through the core beliefs. Our core beliefs actually influence our nervous system. So let me give you an example of that. I knew someone that grew up being said, so everyone would say to her and her family, you're so clumsy. And she supposedly, I didn't know her in her childhood, but she was telling me that she would like bump into things and she would spill things and everyone would just say, you're so clumsy, you're so clumsy. And so she became a very clumsy adult. Like she would bang into things, she would spill things, she would knock things over. It just became a part of her story. And so we helped her rewire her belief system and we stopped saying, that she's clumsy. She had to really rewire that. And once she rewired it, she stopped being clumsy. Because if that's in your subconscious influences your nervous system. So you will spill things, you'll knock into things, you'll bump into things. So you have to be careful what your beliefs are, what language you use, how those words resonate with you. Do they make you feel good? Do they make you feel bad? Like I'm an affirmation girl. I love affirmations, but I have even my own students have said, oh, I can't do affirmations. Like some love them, some hate them. You have to work with how those things feel inside of you, what beliefs come out, what feelings come out, because that's what influences your frequency. Okay. Play. Beautiful. Generating money versus earning money. How do you manifest money when you have none to begin with? How does manifesting work in such cases? So here's how I would do it, Hen. So when I didn't have money, I said, okay, what do I believe will make me earn money? What I believe, this is my belief. So you have to see if that's your belief. I believe that being educated and having skill sets and adding value will help me earn money. So I went and got skill sets and then I went and added value and then I started generating money. So I would sit down with your journal and say, what are my beliefs? Like, what is my conditioning? What have I been told? What do I really believe? Then see if that works for you. And if it doesn't work for you, you're going to have to rewire that because I can give you, actually tomorrow's training will really help you. We're talking about my 4 stages of money. First is coins, cash, riches, and wealth. I can't help but smile when I talk about those because they're just so fun. So tomorrow you'll learn my process of moving through those stages, going from coins to cash to riches to wealth. Just something I really love. My root said it's afraid of losing money and freedom I have. So Diana, this is such a good example, right? Our root is always about the safety. What does your sacral say? So let's move on. Let's go to your sacral. What does your sacral say about money? Tap into that. Close your eyes, drop in there. Okay, what came up for you? Thank you, Heather Ann, for putting that in the chat. When you said to tap into my root chakra, I felt like there was no need, but in my bank account, I don't know how I will pay for my next bills. How would you explain this? That I felt all was okay. So that's great. So you feel grounded. So now let's move up to sacral. So what do you desire? What do you desire? What's like the real desire in your sacral? How do you want to feel with money? Sacral is going to be all about pleasure. It's going to be about, feeling with money. Your solar plexus will be your power. How powerful do you feel? Do you feel that do you feel worthy? Do you feel like you have the will to do it? I'm like, if chakras were a person, I would be solar plexus. That's what I believe. So your solar plexus is all about power with money, okay? And wealth and manifestation. Your heart is like your soul's desire. That's what your soul wants to lead to. I always say that God tricks me into things. So God will dangle things to desire, and then as I go towards them, I'll like end up changing people's life. I'll end up changing the planet. But like he might have dangled like a Chanel bag in front of my face, right? So I get tricked into like these really big movements and revolutions, but there's always a desire that comes first. Desire to change my own relationship, desire to lose weight, desire to have certain clothes in my wardrobe. So that's going to be like where your soul is leading you, with showing you things that you should move. It's like think of it as like a GPS. Okay, now I'm giving you guys the full my money chakra training that the first time I shared that was in my Wealthy Bish mastermind. That's ended now. But let's move to our throat. So our throat is going to be all about our, feeling seen and heard, and our voice, like knowing that money gives us a voice. Money gives us the power to speak, like vote with our dollars, right? Do you feel like you matter? Do you feel like what you say is important? Do you feel like people listen when you speak? Do you have a say in things? And that's going to be sort of the frequency of the money that you attract. So I get to vote with my dollars. I get to vote with my wealth, right? So that's going to be that. Okay. And then now we're going into sort of like the higher realms, right? The third eye is sort of like the downloads and your connection to the quantum field and the access to information that you have, how you create things, how you channel things. And so we're moving up. A lot of people try to start manifesting here, but if your root, like the first three chakras are not grounded, you're going to have trouble. I have seen people try to like be spiritual and just attract without getting their lower chakras right, their energy centers. And what they do is they do this yo-yo. They'll manifest money and then life will knock them back down. Because if you try to move up to the sacral and up without getting the root route, right, the energy will keep trying to drop you back down so that you can finally get the root. And I'm going to share more of my story tomorrow, but I'll share a little bit. You guys know I come from tons of childhood trauma, like tons of it. In fact, I was recently in a training where they were talking about all these different types of traumas, and I was shocked to learn I had all of them. There was not one type in there that I had not experienced in my life. So by the time I was older, like there was, and earning my own money, there was this thing of like, I need to make myself well. Like I need to be good with money. I need to have money. And I kept manifesting it, but I could never keep it. I didn't know how to keep it. I didn't have the masculine structure. So when I married Irfan, even before I married him, like this was one of his qualifications that he had to pass. The vetting process was like, I need a paid off house. Like I needed someone to be like really, really good with money, really good with money. In fact, when we met, I was earning more than him, but he had more than me. Like he knew how to keep money. He knew how to multiply money. So that's something I had to learn. And so in the first few years of our marriage, it was all about like paying off the house, maxing out the 401k, investing as much as possible. Some of you guys have been in my world to know long enough that the wormhole that we took to becoming multimillionaires was paying off the house. That was the first thing we did, knocking out that house. So Irfan was almost, I think, 3/4 ways there when I married him in the house that he originally owned. And I think in a year of us being married, he paid off that house. Then when we moved to Texas, we bought another house here that we still owned that paid off house. And we got a 30-year mortgage on that previous home we had, but we paid it off. Our goal was to pay it off in 5 years. We paid it off in 3 years. Then we had 2 paid off houses and we sold that other house because it was in a different state and our tenants were leaving. So we're like, let's just sell this. Then we stayed in that house for 11 years. And then when we sold that house, well, we bought this house, we sold that house, this house was paid off. So that is something that was our wormhole because it was kind of like the gateway that actually helped us have the first million. Because once the house was paid off, and then with the 401k money, it's like, oh my God, we're millionaires. Like we have $1 million. I'm not saying you have to pay off your house. This is not financial advice. But what I'm saying is that you have to find that wormhole that takes you through the stages: coins, cash, riches, wealth. Join me tomorrow. I'll drop the link for that free training. That is actually the pre-work for my upcoming wormhole masterclass on August 30th. But I decided to give it to you guys for a limited time. So I'll throw that. Questions, comments? Remember those days. Yes, Jewel, are you been following me for that long, babe? This is the live for tomorrow. Beautiful. If you just started investing, you're moving from riches to wealth stage. And I'm so happy for you. Yes, I did cover the heart. My solar plexus says money should be fun. Interesting. Okay, so for me, the fun comes from my sacral. So that's very interesting. Solar plexus comes from like, for me, it's like the energy of power. Like I'm an activator. A lot of people tell me that just being around me, even if I'm not talking about money, that they feel activated, that they're able to manifest money. They desire money suddenly. They feel like they can do it. They feel like they can like take over the planet. That's like what comes through from my solar plexus. Yes. Oh my God, Janan, you remember that? She said hashtag buy the damn shoes. You changed my life, babe. I'm so happy. Babe, I'm going to add you as a moderator too. I'm not even going to ask you because I know you're going to be okay with it. Okay. Spending money on your health and beauty is an investment too. It for sure. For me, the number one investment that I make is in myself because I always outperform every market. You've been hearing me say this. I have like actual proof of this. Like if you run the numbers of the, last 20 years of my life, you will see that every dollar that I've spent on my inner work, on my investing in myself, whether it's like even buying nice clothes, buying Chanel, whatever, it's like my growth expansion, I have 10x it. Like I have actual proof of that. I feel activated just listening. Yay, that makes me so happy. I'm an activator. I'm in this like group chat with my friends, entrepreneur friends, and it's really interesting because we were talking about like my friend Shazad, she's a healer. If she was a chakra, she would be the heart. She is all about the healing. Just being around her frequency, you will heal. Like you will heal. Okay. I'm the solar plexus. If you're around me, you're going to feel powerful. You're going to feel activated. You're going to feel like you can fly. You can take over the world. And I don't even have to say that to you. It is just a natural energy that comes from me. In fact, I can boldly claim that after thousands of people already reflected that to me. So that's interesting. I couldn't see it. They would tell me repeatedly. And after enough people said it, I'm like, huh, that is so interesting because that's how I feel inside. I feel like I can do anything. I feel like I could take over the world. I feel like there's nothing off limits for me. My mom used to believe that. I got that from my mama. Hey, honey, love you too, babe. Mina, you're definitely our activator. Love it. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. Any other questions about any of the things we touched upon? I have found you online today. So excited watching you from Africa. Beautiful. Welcome. Mina, through your work, I manifested a total change in my relationship from 50-50 boyfriend to full provider husband, now stepping into my richest era. So excited for this journey. It gets to be easy. Yes, it gets to be easy, and you're not afraid of doing hard things. The reason things are easy for me is I'm not afraid of doing hard things. What I believe is that everything's hard until you learn it, right? Tying shoelaces was really hard for me until it wasn't. Swimming was really hard for me until it wasn't. Riding a bike was really hard for me until it wasn't. Live streaming was really hard for me until it wasn't. Money was really hard for me until it wasn't. So everything is hard until it isn't. Most people quit in the hard stage, not my women, not you. You don't quit in the hard stage. You know that it will become easy the more you're willing to do it. If you have staying power, if you're willing to stay the course, if you're willing to do the hard things, life will become easy for you. Hannah said, it came up for me that I associate receiving money with decision fatigue and feeling like I want to make the most of it. Interesting, Anna. So I would really dig deep into this. I would want to rewire that too. So what I believe is that money helps me not have decision fatigue because I've already decided that money just is. Just money gets to happen. Oh my God, I have to tell you something. Okay. This is the announcement I was going to make. So we were swimming yesterday, me and my younger two kids. And my son challenged me to do 30 manifestation videos in 30 days. I was freaking out. Like, I didn't immediately accept it. I was just like, what? Like, but like, he's also a projector, right? So like, he knows what he's saying to me as there's going to be resistance. And so I had a whole like conversation with him. And I think he could like sense that I had resistance around it. And he's so gentle as a projector. He was able to like kind of like coach me through it. And before I knew it, I had agreed to do 30 manifestation videos in 30 days. So today is day one and he is keeping track. So I'm not going to let him down. I'm not gonna, oh my goodness, like I'm freaking out. I am nervous, but we are doing this. So today is the day one. Tomorrow, I already had scheduled video on manifestation, so luckily that's done. Monday, the video that's coming through is going to be how to manifest in any emotion. Janan said, I love when you get excited to tell a story. Thank you, babe. Yes, he challenged me. So a lot of people think they can only manifest when they're in high vibration. That's actually not my experience. I can manifest from any emotion, and I'll teach you how to do that on Monday. So that's going to be Monday's video. I don't know how I'm going to pull this off, but I made a promise and I'm going to do it. Heather Ann said, thank you, Ayan. If you're willing to do the hard things, life will become easy for you. Yep, because most people are afraid of hard things. Most people quit really easy. There's no competition at the top. All the competition is it's at the low-hanging fruit. My daughter and I are also both projectors. Beautiful. Lots of projector energy. As a longtime subscriber, I know how huge it is to be swimming. Congratulations. Thank you, babe. In 2018, I overcame that about my deadly fear of water by learning how to swim. I mean, I just wanted to let you know that your Basic Babe course helped me manifest my husband. So excited. Oh my goodness. Love you, babe. Congratulations. Happy marriage. Yes. I've done 30-day live streams in a row, but I've just done them. Like it was never like, oh, I'm going to do 30 days. I just like accidentally did them. But this time I'm going to win. I'm going to do it. I started investing in properties and told myself I will start investing in my physical appearance with the profits of my investments. Do you think that I should invest in my physical appearance first? What will what will give you the biggest ROI? So that's how I make my decision. So this is something I shared on YouTube years ago. So my OGs will know this. When Irfan and I were on one single income, his income, I was a stay-at-home mom. for 9 years before I launched this business, right? So I did have a little bit of income from YouTube. I think at this time I was making about $50 a month from YouTube AdSense, so not a lot. Every month I would say, what's the one thing that if I invested in that this month and upgraded it, it would make the biggest difference in my energy. And like 1 month, the idea was towels. If I upgraded the towels for the entire house, that will like make me feel amazing. I'm going to feel like the luckiest girl. I'm going to feel so blessed. So I stocked like Ross, Marshall's, Home Goods. And once I found like the right designer towels that I wanted for the whole house, I brought them. And then I got rid of all the old towels. The next month, I asked the same question. And that month, the question was, the answer was invest in this skill or invest in this course or something. So I used my fund money for that month to buy a course or invest in a coach or whatever. So that became the investment for that month. The next month, it might be like, oh, your clothes are looking like a little bit worn, Mina, like you need to buy a couple new outfits. So I would go and, find some deals, and we were on a tighter budget back then because we were trying to have $2 million saved and invested so we could be financially independent. So it was a different kind of a budget. So I would go and buy a couple of outfits. The next month my desire would say, change all the bed sheets in the household. So I would get, bought new bamboo bed sheets, got rid of the old bed sheets. So I have been doing this for most of my life. I love investing in myself. Now, I'm not saying, like that's going to work for everyone. Some people are like, oh, but I bought this and nothing happened. It's because you don't have that belief. If you believe that you waste money, if you believe that, every time you buy something, it's a scam or you're wasting your money, that's what you're going to experience. So I believe that I am my biggest and best investment, and that every time I invest in myself, my life just 10x's. That's a wormhole. I have been doing that for most of my life. Hi, Mina. In your embodiment process, you have a step that says, what's the low-hanging fruit? What does that mean if you desire to embody wealth? So what I would say is, have you embodied riches first? You'll learn more about this tomorrow when I give you the stages. Try not to skip stages. When we skip stages, we feel wobbly. So the low-hanging fruit when it comes to money in any form is really appreciate, like coming to tears with appreciation with what you've already spent money on. That's the low-hanging fruit. A lot of times people buy things and they're like, it's kind of like, oh, I bought this, like whatever. If you are the kind of person that can train yourself to come with like tears of joy because you bought a coffee today, or every time you walk into that closet and you're like that dress that you bought 10 years ago that still looks new, still makes you feel fabulous, that's like the low-hanging fruit for me. I can use anything that I've manifested in the last 43 years of my life and just feel so amazing and so blessed and so in the high emotion of gratitude. That's why I'm able to manifest so quickly. So your nervous system, like I said, and I think it was point 2, behaves differently with time, depending on if you're in, parasympathetic nervous system or fight or flight. So you have to make sure that you are using gratitude as a great gateway to kind of really ground yourself and make your nervous system feel in that restful state, in that calm, creative mode. And that the easiest, lowest hanging fruit to do that is money you've already spent. Go find something that you've already spent money on and like fall in love with it. Like it's the best thing ever. Like desire it the way you desired it before you had it. Heather Ann said, I am my biggest investment, and every time I invest in myself, my life 10x's. Yup. I really like that. If you cut me, that will ooze out of my blood. I really believe that. Let me give you an example of this. When I started investing like more heavily into sort of like coaching containers and mentorship containers, like it was really out of our comfort zone. And I say our because for both me and Irfan, it was out of our comfort zone, the level that we were spending at that time on my thing. Some of the coaching containers that I bought, in my opinion, didn't give me what I thought it was going to give me. And yet it changed my life. Because I believe that every time I invest in my life, it changes my life, it 10x's my life, that's exactly what happened. And then when I look back, I'm like, that's interesting. I didn't get what I thought I was going to get. I dumped that container. I didn't even go back after taking 2 sessions. How did it change my life? Because I learned what not to do. I learned that some of the things that people were saying were not for me. That doesn't mean that the coach was bad. It doesn't mean that the coach was whatever. It just means that she taught me what I already knew was right for me. She made me more convicted. She made me more confident in like, no, I think I'm going to do it this way. Thank you very much. So that is huge information because most women do things out of doubt. A lot of us do things and we're like, is this the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? One day you're going to wake up and you're going to believe it's the right thing. The next day you're going to say, am I sure it's the right thing? What if someone, like, what if you bought something and the thing that they taught you is that you are definitely doing the right thing? Do not stop. I think that is worth millions of dollars to have that information. For me, it's been worth tens of millions of dollars because I'm like, oh, I don't have to learn that. I just have to keep moving, keep rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And that's what brought in all the money. So everything I invest in, I believe my life will be 10x. Someone else might believe that that's not true for them. And they might say, well, Mina says every time I invest in something, my life is going to 10x. Oh, it didn't. Well, I'm sorry, babe. You have to first get that belief. You have to know my cosmology to understand why certain things work for me. You have to take, if you want to do it the way I've done it, you're going to have to take my belief systems. But what I recommend is something even better. Find the belief systems that you already have and work with those, and then shift them over time to different beliefs that you want. That is going to be the path of least resistance there. Mina, I have a blog in 2022. I became debt-free using minimalism. That's great. Minimalism now feels unaligned with my next level. Your thoughts? Okay, this is such a brilliant question, Kabibi. So I don't know if you were in my world back then. I think you were not, but I went through a huge minimalism stage. In fact, I was so I don't know if you probably know them. Do you know the minimalist? The authors of like the documentary and the books and all the things. Okay. Well, I was their Houston representative. So they choose a representative in every city. Well, in cities where there's a lot of minimalists, and then you lead their monthly meetings. I literally was the one that was the Houston representative. That's how much I was in minimalism. That's what helped us get to that first $2 million was minimalism. After that, when we reached our goal, I felt this huge sigh of relief. And all of a sudden, there were aspects of minimalism that I still embody, and other aspects started feeling constricted. Because remember when I say every belief is a limiting belief, some are just more expansive from where you're at. Every belief is a limiting belief. Some are just more expansive. So when I have a new belief, I already know that a year, 6 months, 2 years down the line, I'm probably gonna, like the new belief will become the new limiting belief. So now that you've outgrown it, what's next? Play with that. Well, what do I really believe now? So what's happening is you were parked in the minimalism parking lot, and now your car is like, this was nice, but I'm kind of like over this view. Now I want to pull out and I want to keep driving and I want to find another scenic place to park. So I wonder where your car is going to go. Where are you going to park next? And now, of course, when I stopped talking about minimalism, I lost tons of subscribers. I've had this happen at every journey. When I started doing Louis Vuitton videos 13 and a half years ago and haul videos, I had a certain type of subscribers. They loved that content. When I stopped making that content, some left, some stayed. Then when I switched to keto and the autoimmune content, because that's what I was going through, some left, some stayed, new people came in. And so I've had to go through that journey. Some of those minimalist people stayed with me. They're still in my world. I still hear from them. Some left, and then new people came in. So this is going to happen at every stage. There's a new consciousness, a new level that you have to embody. And I'm curious what's coming next. So play with that. Ask God, what's the next thing, God? Where am I parked? So let's say this is the minimalism scale. You kind of might be moving somewhere different. Wow, cosmology, that word really activates me. Yay, I'm so happy to hear that. Reminds me of the part of Lady Balls that speaks about the seasons in life. Yes. As women, especially, we have to be able to play with those. Men have seasons too, but I think women really need to honor them because men have sort of like less seasons, we have more. The things that I still believe about minimalism, that I still embody, is the part that I believe from my culture too about barakat. So having things that you're not using, my mom used to say, unused things curse you because things are designed to be used. So I either find a use for everything I have or I give them away and bless someone else because I don't want my things sitting there cursing me. Oh, what's next? I'm going to use the 6-step process to get into the other side of this. Yes. I wonder where Kabibi is going to be parked next. Like just being in play mode with that. We don't have to figure that out right this moment, but wouldn't it be nice to try something new on and see where you stand? You get to play. You get to change your mind. Now, every time I've changed, even the topics on my channel, some people have gotten mad. Some people have quietly unsubscribed. New people have come in, but I'm not the kind of person that can stay standing in one place just so people are not going to be mad. Like that's just not who I am as a person. I have to keep moving. I came here to grow. So new things excite me. I'm exiting the minimalist stage. Someone else said I'm entering the minimalist stage. Beautiful. For me, I'm so glad I had the minimalist stage when my kids were younger. I think that really helped me be a better parent at that stage. And not that you need that again. I think I just needed that. Remember that just because I have certain beliefs doesn't mean I'm negating your beliefs. They're just different. We both get to be right in our realities. Forgot to take a sip of my tea. Yes, wow, I think minimalism helps with structure setting. Yep. Minimalism helped with the first 2 million, but to get to over deca million status, I needed to ditch minimalism. Minimalism eventually became a crutch, but in the first part we needed it. So again, belief systems, what works, be ready to ditch it at some point. Because otherwise the thing that was helping you is now become something that's holding you back. Be willing to evolve. I would say be willing to evolve and evolve quickly. Thank God you keep moving. Like you said, I'm here to do big things on this planet. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that will require me to have big changes, bold moves, whole duality, all of the things. It will require that of me. I'm going to have to hold that energy. All right, ladies, I'm going to let you guys go today. Thank you so much for joining me, but I will be back here tomorrow at, I believe, the same time. The training for tomorrow is Quantum Tunneling, a journey to generational wealth for visionary women. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. I've got 30 days of amazing manifestation content dropping here that will blow your mind. They're literally money codes and wealth codes from a deca millionaire. So the way I think is different, I believe. And also currently I'm actually coaching people that are way wealthier than me in money, but I'm coaching them for relationship stuff. So I'm getting insights right now from billionaires, from celebrities, from, one of my clients, her and her husband just sold their company for $300 million. So they're centimillionaires. So I'm getting codes and information of money that's just so potent just because of the world that I live in and what I've created. And so I want to share that with you. So 30 days of manifestation videos dropping that is it's going to blow your mind, things you probably heard never anywhere before. Like even my chakra with the money stuff, you're not going to find that anywhere else. So I love you guys so much and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Thank you, Random. She said, love you, Mina. Thank you. Love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you every day for 30 days.